It is a Wednesday morning. There's a lot going on. Not a lot of fog at the coast again today, but it'll kind of fill in tonight. The winds pick up tonight. Gale warnings offshore. The story today for parts of California: heat advisories, fire weather watches, gale warnings, tornado watch out in Illinois, and some wind advisories. So there's a lot going on in terms of just kind of weather watches. Today's the hottest day of the week. Temperatures tomorrow, it was kind of a build from yesterday to today. Temperatures tomorrow will be cooler, and they kind of hover in that cooler, milder range, especially for Central California and parts along the coast. Redding, Bakersfield, you'll cool down tomorrow, but it won't be like this massive cool down. Redding today is going to be 102. Redding tomorrow will be 97. That's cool down. It's just not 102. Sacramento today, 100 degrees. That's going to first 100 in a little while. And that'll be their last 100 for a while. Like Central Valley, 100-degree temperatures are going away for at least, if you buy in the models, a couple weeks. Yeah. San Diego today, 77. Los Angeles, downtown, 85. That's hot. In downtown LA, San Francisco, 70 degrees. So we'll get to it. This is the Mount Tamalpais camera. This is the fog. Put a loop on it because you can see in the morning the fog's not really there. You see the shipping boats or the fishing boats going out, and then you see the fog kind of, oh, I'm coming in, buddy. Coming in. Isn't that beautiful? This is from Mount Tam. Those coastal hills are about 1,000 feet. So the marine inversion, the profiler would show, I'm not going to show it today, but the profiler would show about 1,000 feet. Fog comes back in earnest tonight, and well, it'll try to come back tonight, more tomorrow, because it's going to be windy. Wind is what's been disrupting the fog bank thus far. The reason there's not a lot of marine layer. The wind will be the thing that'll kind of disrupt it again tomorrow, but I think it'll be a little more prevalent. And offshore, to the north and the south of us, are gale warnings. There's lots of watches, warnings, and advisories out there. Hope you're having a good day. Just kind of getting started here. I was thinking about yesterday. I kind of did an afternoon one, which is way off canter for me. But I did it because I realized that it's like anything, like a job. Like it's not. It's consistency's cool, right? Obviously, but if you don't do this every day. Like when I used to work and I'd have the weekends off, I would come back on Monday and I'd be kind of not struggling, but like, because you kind of, like, there's a flow that goes with the models, that goes with the satellite loop. And you're kind of, if you're with these, I know a few of you guys are here all the time, there's a flow. And when you're in it, you don't want to get out of it. And the flow is remembering what happened 2 days ago and how that low progressed and just the story, the arc. Right, beginning, middle, and kind of the end as the storms leave us. If you get out of that story loop and you pick up at chapter 7, it's difficult. Not because you can't understand it, but you can't feel it. Does that make sense? I know. Sounds really woo-woo, but I realized that yesterday. I go, oh, no, because I didn't really feel like doing one yesterday, to be honest with you. But I'm like, oh, no, it's like, yeah, I didn't feel like going for a run either, but I did, right? And you kind of have to stay in the flow if you want to, be in there. Okay. Look at all the watches and warnings. So here is the yellow area here. This is the tornado watches. So that's a big one out towards most of Illinois, and then some flood concerns, some heat issues out towards Rhode Island. This area here, that's that explosive area. We talked about it yesterday. This is an example of watching yesterday if you did. This is this low that's been kind of just lingering out here, and it's producing, in this case, tornadoes possible. In this case, heavy, heavy rain, flash flooding type events. And then the high pressure, which is rotating this way, is shifting a little bit, but it's been here long enough that we are seeing heat. These red areas are red flag warnings, heat advisories. Extreme heat warnings are purple. This is a wind advisory. And then this purple area is offshore. Those are gale warnings. So, it's a one and done in terms of big heat today, which is kind of nice. Like, it's not like we're not staring down 2 or 3 days. Now, extreme heat down towards Bullhead City, Kingman, and Lake Havasu, those are going to last a little while through through tomorrow. And the heat advisories down towards Prescott and Phoenix, those heat advisories are lasting through, I believe, Friday. So that is some hot stuff. Let's see if we can do another. Yeah, you can kind of see some. This is Weather Service puts these products out. Just saying, and it is true, man. I mean, it'll mess you up, the heat. And a lot of people, I guess in Arizona, people have that, but this is the one I always think about. I think about the pets. I really do. Just because they don't have a say and they get, it drives me crazy. It's getting better. But and little kids, stuff like that. But just stay out of the heat. It's going to be hot in these areas. This is down towards this heat advisory down towards San Diego. And you can kind of see Anaheim, 89 degrees. They're in a high temperature zone that's going to be above average. San Bernardino, 101. Hemet, 101. And then you get out into the big heat out towards El Centro, Buck 13. Joshua Tree, 100 degrees. Victorville, 106 degrees. So lots of watches, warnings, and advisories. And so it's certainly out west. And this all winds down tomorrow as this trough. Right now we're under a ridge, and then the trough's here. Tomorrow we're going to see a shift, and it'll help the folks out in this part of the country too. The shift's going to be this trough kind of shows up here, and they'll start to get some ridging as this area gets pushed off. So that's the jet stream interacting with the surface features. Let's see, we'll go here. Let's look at today's highs. These are the forecast highs for today. And as I mentioned, 102 in Redding. It's not crazy talk, but it's hot. The real heat, though, as you can see, has been down in this area. And again, that's another day. It's going to go all day Thursday and all day. And then as it'll shift, the heat will start to move off a little bit this way tomorrow, but it'll still be a big deal. I can't really see my arrow, can you? It'll still be a big deal down here. And then that should be it. So Friday should be the end of it, especially for Arizona and places like it. Not the end of it, but the heat warnings and such. We'll see how that works out. Hopefully that's the way it goes. This is the forecast, or these are the forecast highs for tomorrow. So you got 96 in Redding. So that's down, right? So that's down 10 to 6 degrees. It's a lot. 93 in Chico. 93 in Chico, I can speak from personal experience. 93 in Chico is awesome. 96 in Redding is awesome too because it doesn't feel that hot. It is a dry heat, as they say. 86 in Sacramento, big delta breezes. What happens? You know how we get our sea breeze along the coast. You guys in Southern California up towards Pasadena, you get a sea breeze. Well, same thing happens to the Central Valley when the winds shift, which they're going to as that low comes in. It's going to push a lot of this marine air all the way up into the Central Valley, and it has an impact. Certainly as far north as Chico and as far south as Fresno, and that'll help cool things off a bunch. Let's see what we got here. Satellite loop. Here's that system, right? This is the severe thunderstorm warning stuff. This is the tornado watch stuff. This is why there's advisories. And then out here, this is the high. You can really pick out the dome of high pressure now. This is the jet stream. Something like this. See that? Look at that dome, right? What's going to happen is this guy here, this little circulation, is going to drop in. Is it a huge deal? It is kind of a huge deal because it's going to drop in and it's going to stay here. When I say drop in, if you can you picture that circumference of this thing, right? And that's just cooler air. And that's going to drop in and it's going to hang out kind of from about Big Sur north, and that'll modify temperatures further south. It'll certainly cool us off here. It'll take fire danger off the table, not off the table, but kind of moves it to the edge of the table as we go into the next couple of days. Okay, love that national map. And I love how you can see how everything moves. So in jet stream like this, ridge of high pressure, trough, look at that, like another ridge off there, kind of like those wave clouds we were talking about yesterday, lenticular clouds, how downstream they run. Jet stream does the same thing. It moves and it undulates, and it sort of, if it get a big high ridge here, you get a big deep trough here. It what's the word? It's in, I don't know what the word is, but it's there's a word. Okay, so here is this GFS, and we're going to see the same thing. So we just drew in the jet stream. I'm sorry to keep doing this to you, but I think you're going to learn this. And then there's the trough, right? So we knew that. And then there's that next ridge, right? So that whole pattern moves. Okay, here's an example. Let's do this. So we kind of did weather. We're going to do more weather too, but I just want to when you take your garden hose out and you lay it straight and you turn it on, the hose kind of ripples a little bit but blows. If you take your garden hose out, lay it on the lawn, and put it into like a sine curve or into some kind of a wavy pattern, and then you turn the hose on rapidly, especially if there's some velocity to the water within the hose will actually, right? It'll change the bump might amplify, and then that de-amplifies the area in front of it. That's what the jet stream. The jet stream is just a hose with fluid running through it. Then when that fluid speeds up, it creates a ridge or creates a trough or creates whatever. It creates movement within the hole. Okay, think about that. It's just a hose cranking it up. Fluid moves through it. That fluid, through various means, moves the general positioning of the jet stream. And when we look at that, what we're looking at, if we go quickly here, I'm always looking for better ways to explain atmospherics, because I learned it from the bottom up, which was awesome, and it was hard. It kind of difficult to make your mind do some of the things we used to do, just learning it. But if you can understand the basic idea that the jet stream is that kind of, it's a metaphor, but sort of that, you'll go, whoa, and then it relates to every other bit of weather that you will look into. I kid you not. And it all ties together beautifully. Thermodynamics. Okay, so I'm just going to move this through first. When you can see the low, right? Well, look at the movement. See how there's the hose, the winds increase, amplifies, flow. It's a flow. Awesome. So this is for the next 10 days. So maybe you notice, let's do it one more time, next 10 days. Find us. I'm not going to say anything about what our weather, you just tell me what you think. And then here we go, we're going through the next, I don't even know what day it is. It's just, this is next week, this is the following week. So, I'm not going to say anything. Okay. That's interesting, huh? Okay, so this low right here is hanging out, and it's going to hang out, and it's still hanging out. That's on this Saturday. That's on this Sunday. That's on this Monday. It's in some iteration, that part of the jet stream, that part of the hose is going to be close to us. Air's running through the hose, but the general hose is right there, and that is pushing, let's say, cool water through the hose, and that cooler water is keeping us cooler, because to the north of that trough is cold air, to the south of it is warm air. So when you're under that trough, you're under essentially relatively cooler air. And then a little bit of a break there, a little bit of a warm up on June 26th. But check this out, all the way down towards the end, that's July 4th. I'll tell you what, first of all, that makes me happy if that happens, because that's July 4th. That's a trophy pattern, and that would be helpful, because July 4th, I really do hate 4th of July fireworks. I hate them. I think it's the stupidest, most ridiculous for California. I'm not saying it's ridiculous for Nova Scotia or certain parts of Washington State, but the idea that we take the middle of summer, especially in California, West Coast, and turn it into fireworks. And what 14-year-old kid isn't going to rip off some fireworks from the neighbor and go shoot them all? Are you kidding me? And I don't blame the kids at all. I think I did that. But it's the stupidest. If I was Gavin Newsom and governor of the state, I would ban fire. I said Mediterranean GDM climate that's dry all summer, that's having fire concerns and issues, and we think it's okay to have sparklers. I mean, come on, sparklers. I know you agree with me, and I'm not a buzzkill, but it's just stupid. It's just the stupidest. All my years in television, I used to say, this is the stupidest thing I've ever seen. It's almost like the definition of insanity, right? It's like, really? Really? Because I guarantee you, all the stories going into July 4th are going to be fire. All the stories coming out of July 4th are going to be fire. And one of the things I've learned, and after the 4th of July is when the fires are the worst. Because the kids do pilfer fireworks and save a bunch, and then they run up in the hills with their buddies, which is what you're supposed to do when you're 12, and they light off sparklers because it's awesome, and they probably get away with it once in a while. But oh my God, don't get me started. Okay, sorry, that's kind of an old man Martin thing. This is the GFS surface map, and see the railroad tracks. See these? So that's the wind. Forget the dashed lines for now. Those are thicknesses representing temperatures. But and if they as they go down, they cool. But where we're looking at is breezy conditions. There's the gale warning. Look at that, just keeps coming, keeps coming. This is a cool or mild pattern for the West Coast. A little bit of a warm up here and there, but those lines, it's going to be a lot of west wind. If you're a hay fever sufferer, I suspect you're going to notice stuff for sure. Okay, we did it. Talked about a little bit about everything. What we talked about, tomorrow's the warmest day of the week by far. Temperatures start to cool down next week, and the week after that, right into the 4th of July. Oh, and that was my point. That weather pattern for the 4th of July is at least awesome if it happens, because that's a lessened fire danger forecast. And tomorrow's cooler, milder, especially for the Sacramento Valley from Chico to Fresno, and for the Bay Area, and for Santa Cruz, and for Santa Barbara. Everybody kind of cools down just a little bit. It's not a major cool down, but it's a cool down and takes heat advisories and such off the table for much of California. This I just wanted to show you. This is the satellite loop, or the this is the Surfline forecast wave model, and I like this because there's South America, right? Look at that, the storms. So right there in their winter. So these are the storms. Those are those are waves, but you can count them as storms, and that's where our swell comes from this time of year, right? And you can see the swell field is the color, and so what you see up here is, if my buddy Mark Sponsor was watching, Mark Sponsor has a wave podcast he does, kind of a YouTube channel, which is awesome. I mean, he's the king of wave forecasting. This is, but you see that system coming in. So I just like to see, the weather and waves are connected. And in our case, there's not a lot of activity to the north, but there is to the south. So most of this swell at uppers, and this is in San Clemente, not San Clemente, this is down by San Onofre, down by Trestles. Trestles is just over here. This is where Richard Nixon's Western White House used to be. And we call this, I think I used to call this Cottons up here. I think they still do. And then this would be uppers, which is a good wave, but not as awesome as lowers. Lowers is kind of the wave, but not bad crowd today. A little bit of swell. That's a south swell. This is T Street. I think this is C Street? T Street. Yeah, T Street. And this is San Clemente. And if any shot ever looked like San Clemente, that is it. You see the fog trying to clear off of the coast. Temperature today in San Clemente, pretty warm, about 72 degrees. Go inland, you get in the car and you drive east a little bit, like 3 miles, you're going to find yourself into the 80s and 90s. It's going to be very, very warm in the inland sections of San Diego as we go into today and a little bit into tomorrow. But the fog trying to burn back. It's been June gloom in Southern California. We are at Mammoth, where they are, I think they're done skiing. I am surprised they're running the gondolas, but it's funny how, not funny, but the snow goes fast, man. We're going to sit through this till they get to the big run, but I like to kind of see what's going on up there. I like to see how they manage themselves too. Dirt. Summer comes quick. More dirt. Chairlift's not running, but the next shot is that, I think it's chair 24 or 22, or when those chairs are stopped. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's that. It's over, man. And we watched this all happen, right? Well, look at that. Somebody plowed. They took a plow down there. That looks kind of fun, actually. All right. We did it. And then we go to Palisades. I think we can hit Palisades Tahoe. This is the Funatel. Actually, used to know Hans Burkhardt, a guy, a friend of Billy Hudson's wife's dad, built the Funatel, built the tram at Palisades as well. Funatel. This is upper camp at Palisades Tahoe. Warm. See the lake. Quiet. And then this is from far east. Look how green it is. That's beautiful. Live camera. That shot actually loaded up. That's pretty. We're lucky to have all this. And then we have the Puffins. A nice gentleman came in yesterday, chimed in and said, I think that's a mirror, Bill. And because I literally, so okay, so there's a mirror too. But do mirrors, the guy who just thinks that's a mirror, who probably knows a lot more than I know, do the mirrors attract puffins? Is it just like, oh, we're all going to lay our eggs on this rock? Or does the mirror, I mean, why would you put a mirror decoy on a puffin ledge? Or was it a mirror ledge and then the puffins came? Either way, puffins are awesome. I have grown to be obsessed with them for a long time, actually. But this camera is so awesome to look at. Okay, so you have a good day. Remember, today's the warmest day of the week. Remember, when you do weather, especially if you're doing it like you guys do it, some of you, it's easier to stay in the flow. So at least even if you can't look at the GFS one day, or always try to look at the satellite loop, because you can tell everything. Like that's the satellite loop, right? Where is it? Right here. I did weather, so we can do this little thing. But this satellite loop, where are you? Come on. There it is. You look at that, and you can see where the severe weather is. You can see where the cooling is because of that low. You can see where there's some subtropical weather starting to stir up down in the Yucatan area. Yeah, so you can tell everything you need to know about that. Okay, listen, I got to go. Have a great day. We'll talk to you back here tomorrow.